So you made it into the course. Welcome to Physics 2. And that's an accomplishment in itself. And you're looking at this screen here and you're thinking, all right, now what? Well, one of the things you want to do on a regular basis when you enter the course is to check the daily schedule. So click on that. And here's the daily schedule. And it's basically a schedule for the whole semester. And it's set up like a brick and mortar class, one that you would take on campus. It has 2 meetings a week here set up for Tuesday and Thursday. And if you were to go to class, you would watch a lecture, somebody lecturing to you, and do whatever discussion was involved, and spend an hour and 15 minutes, get your assignments, go home and work out problems. And that's basically what you want to do here as well. The lecture videos are not an hour and 15 minutes long. They're more on the order of 30 to 35 minutes. But basically you do the same thing. You watch the lecture videos, get your assignments, work out problems, and an additional thing is that you have a quiz on Sunday night, or due by Sunday night every week. So that's your schedule. It's not set in stone as far as the lectures are concerned. You can watch the lectures at any time you wish. You can watch it at 3 a.m. and no one would be the wiser. You can do your work at any time you wish. The only thing that's set in stone are the deadlines for the quizzes, labs, and exams. So those are the things you get graded on, and there are definite deadlines for that. So let's take a backwards approach to that first. Looking at the exams, these blue, well, the color changes when it gets on the video, but these dates here with exam 1, exam 2 are particular note because you want to complete those exams at the testing centers before the closing time of the testing center on that day. And so this semester, the closing times are 7 p.m. So you want to make sure that you would enter the testing center at least by 5 p.m. So you give yourself 2 hours to do the exams and complete the exam, at least exam 1 in this case, by the end of the day on Tuesday, the 9th of February. Now you can take those exams at any time you wish before that. So you can go to the testing centers any day before that and take the exam and finish the exam. This is just the final deadline date, so you don't want to miss that. Same thing with the quizzes. The quizzes are due by midnight on Sunday, every Sunday. And the reason for the quizzes is just to make sure that you are staying current on the material. The totality of the 12 quizzes is 10% of your grade. So each quiz is worth less than 1% of your grade. So if you miss a quiz or if you do poorly on a quiz, it's not something you should really sweat. I'm not going to sweat it. You shouldn't sweat it. Those things happen, and you're allowed to drop your lowest quiz, so you could miss one quiz, and it's not a problem. And you shouldn't be fretting over it as well. The main idea is just to keep you concentrated, keep you focused on each week and doing the work each week and not letting yourself get behind. So there's going to be a quiz every Sunday night. It's generally 25 minutes long, 2 questions. I'll explain in the next page how to go about studying for those quizzes and what work you need to do. We also have labs that are due at regular times. There's 7 labs over the course of the semester. The first one looks like it's due on Sunday, January 24th. And there's another page, another video that explains how to get set up for the labs and what you should do in order to submit a lab. So those are the deadlines, and those are the things that are set in stone for this semester. Everything else is your prerogative, your flexibility as to how you complete the work. All the work is under the content section of this course. So if you go to content, you've got all your chapters, 15 through 33, without 19 through 22. And in each chapter, you have the lectures and the problem sets. All the problem sets are worked out on Educreations, and the essential 10 homework assignment, the minimum amount of problems that you need to do, and frankly, that you need to do in order to be ready for the quizzes. So your lectures are here, your problems are here. This is where you get your material, is in the content section of this course. So your main work in this course, your main goal in this course is to work out problems and learn how to problem solve. So, how do we go about that? Well, all the content in this course is indeed under the tab Content. And in particular, let's look at Chapter 15 here. And as I open 15, I see that here are my lectures, Integrity and YouTube. And those are the lectures that have been outlined in the daily schedule. And then down at the very bottom, I have the problem sets, either on Educreations or YouTube, YouTube just being a redundant form. And if I click on that, I see at the top of the problem set is a PDF file, which is indeed a copy of the problem set itself. So if I call that up, here's the problem set for Chapter 15. And they're designed to help you hone your skills in problem solving. The answers are at the back of the problem set. So there's no secrets here. And so you wish to work out these problems and do the best you can. In the old days, this is what the instructors would do, and someone like me would be working on these problems the rest of their life, working hours and hours and hours, and sometimes we wouldn't get the right answer. Well, I don't essentially want you to do that. If you get stuck on a problem, what I prefer you to do is actually check the solution. So let's go back here. Below this PDF file is a worked out solution on video for every problem in the problem set. Let's just select one here. This link goes to Educreations, and there's a whiteboard showing me working out and talking about how to solve this problem stroke by stroke right in front of you. And so what you want to do is watch these videos and learn how to solve the problem. Now, you could probably watch me do videos all day and maybe think you understand it, but unless you do it, you don't know it. So at some point, you want to close these solutions, reread the problem, and work it out stroke by stroke yourself and practice doing that. Because again, unless you do it, you don't know it. But at least it's here, and this will save you hours and hours and hours of time. So use this as a resource. It's the modern way of learning, to look at example and think about it and do it. So let's go back here. Maybe even looking at all these solutions might be a little bit too much. So if we go back to Chapter 15 itself, we see in the middle of this folder, there's an Essential 10 homework assignment. And if I click on that, I have Essential 10 problems for this chapter. What I deem these as being problems that are most representative of the essential material you need to know for this chapter, and the material you need to know for the quizzes and for the exams. So in the very least, if you worked out these 10, you would have the minimum basic material that you need to succeed. So I would definitely know these 10 problems, and if I had more time, I would look at problems that were similar to these in the problem set, right up to the point of working out all the problems in the problem set. But it's a function of time, and this is establishing the minimum amount of work that you should be doing. Okay, so you've done all that work, and you should be ready for the quiz. Frankly, from this Essential 10 homework assignment, most likely I'm going to select problems from this assignment change a few numbers, and that will be your quiz. And the quiz will be 2 problems, 25 minutes on Sunday night. So that should get you ready for the quiz. And let's just take a look at the quizzes. Here's a weekly homework quizzes with their due dates. And if you click on this, you will get into the quiz, 25 minutes long. And I'm not going to begin this. It'll show one problem, and it'll give you multiple choice answers, and you have to figure out the problem and put an answer in for that multiple choice. We have a fun quiz to help you get used to the format of the quiz. But that's basically what you would do to do the quiz. So that's it. Work out problems, do as many as you can, and if you did all the problems in the problem set, I assure you, you would be ready for the exams as well. We'll have a sample test for the exams so you can see the flavor of the way that I ask questions on the exams. But working out problems is what you need to do, the skills that you need to learn to succeed in this course. 15% of your grade is the lab grade. So how do the labs work? Let's go down to this lab folder that's a subfolder from the Start Here tab. And this is how do the labs work. So let's read that first. The lab has been set up using simulations from the University of Colorado at Boulder, which was funded by the NSF, National Science Foundation. And these are great simulations. You can go directly to their website here, but the labs will be already downloaded into each lab folder in this Blackboard shell. So you don't necessarily have to go to their particular website to get the labs that you need. What you will need is the latest version of Java on your computer. And so you can go to this website to get that latest version of Java. And once you get that version, you'll find that Google Chrome has dropped support for Java files. So you cannot use Google Chrome browser with these lab files. You'll have to use Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, or any other browser that uses Java files, but not Google Chrome. All right, so let's go into a lab folder. And incidentally, here's the Java download page. So if I click on that, you can get your free Java download right there. Let's go into a lab folder and do a lab. Here's lab 2. When I go into this folder, there are 4 things here. And one thing is the main document in a PDF file. So that's really just your main document in a form that you can read and use as a reference, but there's nothing you can do to modify this file. It's just for your own benefit perusing. Let's close that. So your main file is this main document, which is a Word file. And in this Word file, I'm going to have to open it up here. You want to enable editing. And it's the same as that main file there, only on this one you can actually write in it. So you can write your answers, write your data into the tables, and do everything like that. Eventually you're going to want to write a conclusion. Oh, change the size for some reason. Eventually you're going to want to write a conclusion, and in the conclusion you'll have 4 things. You restate the purpose, state the main data values for that purpose, state the percent error on the main data values if applicable, and state at least 3 sources of error in the experiment. You'll always have to state 3 sources of error in the experiment, even if you had 0% error on the lab. So that'll be a paragraph that you put in there, and when you're done with this document, you're going to save it, but you want to take it out of protected view here. You want to save as a PDF file. So you're going to want to use this menu here to save as a PDF file. And once you save it to your computer, then you will attach it to a message and send that to me, and that will be your submission of the lab. Now, that's your main document. The lab executable is this red document, and sometimes in some of these labs you may actually have an Excel worksheet where you have to fill out data in the worksheet and get the results from the worksheet. So you're just calling that up and using this worksheet for your benefit. Alright, so here's the simulation for this particular lab. And I'm going to have to open it here. It might take a little bit of time. And here's the lab simulation. So here's how it might work. I have a cannon here. I can adjust the angle of the cannon. I can even adjust its height here just by moving things around. I can adjust my target over here. I got a tape measure to measure the distance. I can pull this out as far as I wish. Just kind of play with this stuff. And I wish to fire, I fire. Oops. Alright, so let's try a greater angle here. And almost got the target. I'm going to put the target right there and fire again. Alright, score. So I made it. So anyway, you play around the simulation and do what the lab document tells you to do, and that's it. You know, these simulations are great. As I said, funded by the National Science Foundation, and they are very typical of physics principles. Alright, so let's go back and let's close this. So, 4 things. Most of the labs will only have 3 things. They might not have an Excel spreadsheet. But your main document, save it as a PDF, attach to a message, and send to me, and that will be your submission of the lab. 75% of your grade is actually the exams. So let's take a look down here at this exam folder from the Start Here folder, and let's see how the exams work. Said 75% of your overall grade will be the 4 exams, compared to the quizzes, which each quiz is actually slightly less than 1%. So the exams are a big chunk of your overall grade. You have to be able to work out problems on paper and do that in a reasonable amount of time to pass this course. While the weekly quizzes are not proctored, in other words, there's no one monitoring what you do late on Sunday night, the exams must be proctored. There must be somebody reputable there to watch you and make sure that you're doing the exam properly. Fortunately, Calhoun has testing centers located at both the Huntsville and Decatur campuses, and proctoring at these testing centers is free. The exams will be submitted to those testing centers, so the student will simply walk into one of those centers during normal operating hours, submit an ID, give the course title and instructor, and take the exam there. And when the student is done with the exam, they will submit it there, and that exam will be held there until I come and pick it up or they send it to me. You will be allowed a basic scientific calculator, just one that can do scientific calculations, but no graphing and no calculators that can store pictures or formulas. You might be allowed scratch paper if you think you need it, but there is plenty of space on the exam copy for you to do calculations, so you probably won't need the scratch paper. You will be allowed a 4x6 inch formula card only for formulas and definitions. So there should be no worked out problems, no mathematics steps on these formula cards, only formulas and definitions. And when you're done with your exam, that formula card will be stapled to your exam and left with your exam there at the testing center. All your cell phones should be turned off, and probably they should be left with your backpacks away from the testing table. So you shouldn't be able to look at images or anything else on your cell phone while you are taking the exam. If you are too far away from the Huntsville or Decatur campuses to have your exams proctored there, then you must find a reputable representative at a local college or university to proctor your exam. And so you contact them and have them contact me so we can establish a connection, and I can give them the exam at the proper time. They can administer it to you at an agreed time with them, and afterwards you submit the exam back to the proctor. The proctor will scan it and send that scanned exam to me for grading. So that's how the exams work in general. If we look at more information in this folder, we see that we have the testing center location and hours. Here's a student guide to the testing center, so this has all those rules, including cell phones and what to do with calculators. Main thing from this is the hours. The testing centers are now open Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Both testing centers from 8 to 7, and on Friday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now, most of my exam deadlines are either Tuesday or Thursday, so if you are completing it on the deadline day itself, then you have until 7 p.m. on that day. You want to get there at least by 5 p.m. so that you give yourself 2 hours to do the exam. And in fact, the testing centers will shut down at 6 p.m. So if you arrive after 6 p.m., they won't even let you take the exam. You can do a Friday exam only if it's not in the same week that the exam is due. In other words, if you do the exam early, then you could utilize that Friday morning time slot. All right, let's see here. What else is in this? We have a map. Here's the Decatur Testing Center, and it's located in the Noble Russell building, which is number 9 on this map. I'm located in building number 14, by the way, so not too far away, within walking distance. This testing center on the Decatur campus is not used very much, and it's beautiful. It's quiet, and the facilities are great, comfortable seats. I would suggest, if you can do it, it's well worth the extra drive to the Decatur campus to take your exam there. On the other hand, the Huntsville Testing Center, located in the Research Park campus building, if you go through the main entry, it's all the way back on your right, and that often is crowded and it's not as comfortable. So that's just my suggestion, but for your convenience, you have both. So the exams can be completed anytime before the testing deadline, but they must be completed by the testing deadline.